So let's talk about health. This is beautiful Brooklyn, Underhill Avenue, Prospect Place, quiet street, perfect place for a stroll. Some of the things, I was listening to some of the doctors on cardiologists on YouTube, and one of them, Dr. Gymnatis, I think I pronounced that right, opened my eyes, I think, to something that I didn't realize. All these years, we've eaten bread. And I'm not saying anything bad about bread, but it's interesting what he said. That flours are highly processed, or at least processed. And I never thought about that because we grew up on flour. It's just second nature to America. Flour, especially red wheat. I think the United States is filled with red wheat. And so but he said that a couple things that opened my eyes are, no one can chew a wheat berry and make it into flour. That would be impossible. Your mouth would have to be a grinding mill. And that state of flour was meant as a storage device for the winter, so it would store better. And then, I guess, 1970s or somewhere along the line, they realized that the brands and the fibers actually make it decay faster. So as a preservative method and as a profit method, they removed all the, and this is all my opinion, I guess, from reading, they removed all the fiber and they created white wheat or white flour, which is highly unnatural. There's nothing in nature that is white flour. So it extracted really mostly and then white bread. We grew up on white bread, Wonder Bread. Oh, it's not good. Let's just leave it at that. And what happens is your body processes it way too quickly. It's not natural. And as he says over and over again, if you cram all of the millions of years of evolution into 100 years or 24 hours, or this new diet, this new processing is all in the last 15 milliseconds. And if you eat this new diet, obviously it hasn't been tested. And you can see that the test results, the minimal testing that we're doing is not successful, because in New York City a lot of people walk, but around the country probably they don't walk as much, and the incidence of heart disease and obesity and cardiac arrests and heart attacks and diabetes and early stage diabetes and all the other blindness and the complications of diabetes are rising. Even though somewhere in the 70s, Ansel Keys told us to not eat fat, saturated fat was a problem. And I kind of agree with that high on the food chain is not good. You don't want to eat high on the food chain, you want to eat low on the food chain, because obviously things high on the food chain must accumulate the toxins of the things below. So if you eat a whole bunch of things, some of those toxins accumulate in the body of whatever you eat, so you're going to eat the toxins of everything that thing ate. Now, I guess if cows eat non-toxic grass, then I don't see how anything in this day and age can be non-toxic. It's got got to be some toxins. And even in nature, there's toxins. So it accumulates in the body. So the question is, what should you do? Well, my conclusion is, don't eat flour. Don't eat breads. It's hard. That's a very hard decision. But once in a while, of course, it's okay. But in general, you shouldn't live on bread. The best story, or one of the best stories he said, was the vegan person says, "Oh, I ate a whole loaf of bread." And he says, "What?" And then the other one is, "I juiced up hundreds of pounds of kale." And then he said to them, "Well, let's see you sit down and eat all that kale." He said, "Oh, I couldn't eat that." He said, "Then why would you drink it?" Good question. So that's just a little talk on health. Ciao, ciao.